So while waiting for the release of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and quite frankly, newer games aren't that appealing as they chase the elusive modern audiences, I decided to visit the first game to see if it still holds up 6 years later. After spending over 100 hours plus completing most of the quests, including the DLC, let's just say, I wish I could recommend this game. Don't get me wrong, I said wish because the game itself is fantastic, but there are glaring issues that just cannot be overlooked and lead to frustration and my overall enjoyment with the game. The problems are pretty minor if you focus solely on the main quest, but they become increasingly annoying as you dive deeper into the side quests and objectives. It got so bad at some points that I was on the verge of quitting multiple times. Kingdom Come Deliverance is an action role-playing game developed by Warhorse Studios and released in 2018, set in the medieval kingdom of Bohemia in 1403, part of the Holy Roman Empire. The game strives for historical accuracy, for better or worse. The story follows Henry, the son of a blacksmith, whose peaceful life is shattered when Schumann mercenaries, under the order of King Sigismund of Hungary, raid his village of Skalitz. The attack leaves Henry's family dead and his home destroyed. Driven by a desire for revenge and justice, Henry joins the service of Lord Razik Kabila, a nobleman leading a resistance movement against Sigismund's forces. As Henry, you embark on a journey to avenge your family and retrieve your dead father's sword.
I'll find the one who did this to you. I remember his face. I'll find him.
Well, that's the gist of it. The main story is fine, serviceable even. It's a textbook writing, safe and consistent. If you looked at it from like a storytelling critic point of view, there are many things they could have done better. Spoiler ahead for anyone who wants to experience the story for yourself. Otherwise, continue. During his journey, he met a young nobleman named Hans Capon. Hans is the heir to the market town of Ratay. Initially, he comes across as arrogant, spoiled, and somewhat immature. He enjoys the privilege of his status, often indulges in drinking, hunting, and other noble pastimes. He likes to pick on commoners like Henry to get a reaction out of him, which he does. Our protagonist isn't exactly the type to take insult well. After getting in trouble for brawling, both are sent on a hunting trip by Sir Hanush as a form of punishment. During the hunt, things take a turn. Depending on whether Henry already has a horse, Capon either gets captured or knocked out by the Schumans and needed saving. After rescuing him, Hans takes this well, and they end up becoming best friends. Now, I love the enemy turn friend trope when done right. But the problems here is the pacing. Capon character's development happened in just 2 missions. Even though he's a major character in the endgame and in the next sequel, they should have stretched out his development across the story, making him a massive jerk who slowly warmed up to Henry. This would make their journey more worthwhile and Capon a much more likable character in my opinion. The quick transformation from enemies to allies feel a bit jarring. Imagine if their relationship had more time to grow. A good example of a slow transformation is in the Lord of the Rings series with Legolas and Gimli. They start off not liking each other because of their racist history, but through shared battles and experiences, they grow to respect one another and care for each other.
What about side by side with a friend?
This gradual change would have made Henry and Capon's relationship more believable and enjoyable, where trust developed gradually through shared experiences. By spreading out Capon's character growth, the writer could have created a richer, more nuanced friendship. This pacing tweak would have added depth and emotional weight to their relationship.
So, next time you try to tell me I can't kill a boar with an arrow, you can... Fuck!
After him! Fetch!
One of the mishaps in writing that actually made me quite confused was Henry is revealed to be the illegitimate son of Sir Razik Kabila.
Your father, your real father, is alive. You even know him. It's your liege lord, Radzik Kobela. Although
Henry was left in scarlet because his father, Sir Razik, faced complex political and social pressure, mainly because Henry's mother was a commoner. Henry's quote-unquote blacksmith father, Martin, took him and his mother in due to compassion, loyalty, and love. Even knowing Henry wasn't his biological son, Martin raised him as his own out of deep respect and affection of Henry's mother. This twist came out of nowhere. There are no hints or real clues leading to the reveal, even though a few lords and nobles already know about it. The whole ordeal makes no sense considering Henry was put in dangerous situations multiple times prior. Now, you could argue that since he was born to a commoner mother, he had to build a good reputation for people to accept him as a noble. But the whole ordeal feels lackluster and defeats the story initial setup as a classic underdog tale of a commoner rising to a noble status. And I hate it. I hate the concept of a chosen one. That's why I'm not really into superhero movies and many anime like Naruto or My Hero Academia, where the whole thing starts off as this underdog is going to rise up to the top while having a handicap, only then to just give them the power to be at the top. It's defeat the whole purpose of the story and you question yourself, what's the point anyway? The twist undermines that by giving him a noble lineage, which can feel like a shortcut to elevate his status. It's a reminiscence of stories where the protagonist starts off as a nobody, only then to be revealed as someone special by birthright, which can dilute the impact of their personal struggle and growth. It's a common trope, but it doesn't always fit well with every narrative, especially one that could strive on the strength of an underdog's journey. So yeah, the main story is fine, sure, but it has problems. Now, the good part is the side quests. Most of the side quests you take on feel fleshed out, you can complete it multiple ways, while most of it require you to steal something, talk to someone, investigating something, or hunt some animal. The story never feels the same. Unlike Bethesda quest design, where the NPC tell you to go somewhere, kill something, then give you a reward for it, Kingdom Come Deliverance quests actually have some sort of ending to it, or a nice gag at the end, which makes each quest feel unique and more rewarding in my opinion. But this kind of quest is only good if the story is good. Another good thing about this game is the graphic of the environment. The people at Warhol Studios did an amazing job capturing almost true-to-life environments. I know the whole thing was about making it as true-to-life as possible, but I didn't expect it to stun me at how gorgeous the environment was. You notice it immediately the moment you step foot into the forest or looking at a certain angle in the church. There were times when I thought I was back in the countryside, but it only looks good during the day though. At night, nothing looks good. The lighting from the torches and other sources is pretty bad. You can barely see the star in the night sky, considering the light pollution was close to none during that period. But overall, the graphic still holds up to today, nonetheless. Okay, now, let's move on to things that actually put me off from playing this game. First off, the combat. The best way to describe it, how should I say it, a bunch of horse shit. Not only does the first combat tutorial not work, but it almost completely useless against armored enemy. If you didn't know, the way to calculate enemy difficulty in this game is by how much armor they have. The type of armor and weapons your enemy use can give you clues about their strength. Heavily armored enemies are typically tougher and require different tactics compared to lightly armored foes. Most of your attack get blocked, and it doesn't help that almost every enemy can and will counter your attack. Every single time. God forbid if one of them had a shield, it's like all the fun just gets sucked out of you. You will experience this hell if you participate in the fighting tournament. Feint your attack, get countered. Dodge an attack, get countered. Perfect block an attack, get countered. You stupid fucking idiot. Everything you learn in the first tutorial is almost completely useless against a strong enemy, no matter how much time you spend leveling up your combat skills. And the reason for that is because you did not learn how to use the Master Strike technique from Bernard, which is the most important combat technique in the game. There should have been in the first tutorial. Embarrassingly, I went through half of the game without learning it, because I didn't know that you need to talk to Bernard again to learn it.
You're a bit cocky, ain't you?
Master Strike is incredibly overpowered. You can win almost every duel regardless of your combat experience. It's so dominant that the entire game revolves around using it. It's the only reliable way to win the tourney. While you can try pushing and then attacking, it won't guarantee a hit. The game becomes significantly easier just by learning it, and much more enjoyable. Except when multiple enemies come at you, then it's go back to not being so fun again. There are combos for every weapon in the game except the spear. They're flashy, guaranteed a free hit, and make you feel awesome when executing them. However, good luck trying to use them because the enemy you are fighting often get out of range, and don't forget, they can also counter you. When multiple enemies are on the screen, the game really tests your patience. Group of enemies will attack relentlessly, leaving you no chance to swing back. Having your only hope of winning is by using Master Strikes. The situation is worsened by the terrible lockdown mechanic, which often fails to lock onto the correct enemy. There is no real way for you to not have to lock onto an enemy. The only way I found to somewhat work is that I have to push the run button. And the thing about trying to run away from a fight in this game is it giving your enemy a chance to land a hit, then turning you around and then completely surrounding you again. You might as well just give up. To be able to take down a bandit camp, I have resorting to use the hit and run tactic, which I absolutely refuse to use unless the game forces me to. Otherwise, I just know that I won't be able to have a good time. Now that's not even the worst part of the game. The most annoying aspect is the waiting. The fast travel and waiting system are the most boring, obnoxious, and time-wasting mechanics I have ever seen in a game. I understand that medieval travel took longer, but this is a video game. You fast travel a lot due to side quests and need to go back and forth multiple times. Just add one loading screen because this is taking way too long. You need to sleep, some quests require you to wait until a certain time of day to start, and reading books require waiting. For some reason, when it reaches the 1 hour mark, the clock starts going extremely slow. I don't know why. Let's say if you're late to do shopping. This is how long you need to wait until the shops opens. Waiting a few times is fine. Like I said, the problems are pretty minor if you focus solely on the main quest. But the problem is that you need to do this stuff so many times. It's gotten so bad and obnoxious that I have resorted to use commands to progress the time or to go anywhere. Because I just could not stand having to put down my controller and scroll through Instagram reel while I'm waiting to play the actual game. Maybe it's just the brain rot I have speaking. Maybe these kind of things are just minor issue or probably not an issue for everybody else. But my god, I do not want this system back in the sequel. Despite what I'm complaining, Kingdom Come Deliverance is such a tightly executed game, tainted by some inconveniences that will inevitably push some player away. It surpasses every Bethesda releases since 2012, with each of their releases feel like the devs just make it because it's their job, with little to no inspiration or passion behind them. So it's a breath of fresh air to experience something that has love put into it, untainted by external factors, unlike many game releases these days, with corporate greed and their unnecessary season passes and bundles to inflate the price, building the shell of a game and then letting the player fill in the meat with mods, trying to appeal to a minority group only to exclude the majority. This and many more issues plague modern day gaming, so it's such a relief to play a game with devs that stick to what they believe. I hope this kind of games continue to thrive. I'm looking forward to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I hope they can address some of these issues in the sequel, and so that I don't have to say, I wish I could recommend this game. That's about it. See ya.